This tutorial will walk you through how to build an activity using a new feature of Smart Notebook 11 called the Activity Builder. You can find this, it's a tab located on the side, and it looks like a little puzzle piece. The Activity Builder enables you to create matching activities, perhaps sorting activities, labeling activities, games, and all of this using your own content. What we're going to do is, instead of inserting pictures that you could if you had them, we're just going to create a couple of shapes to use. And remember, whenever you finish, you always have to go back to your select arrow, because if you don't, everywhere you touch your page, it's going to create another shape. Once you have one done, so that they stay uniform, the same size and shape and all, just do a copy and paste is the quickest way. And it works the same way as if you were in Word. A couple of things to note. The circle means the green circle at the top if you want to rotate it. The circle at the bottom right means to resize it. Just go in and out to the size you want. And then if you click on this arrow, a drop-down box opens, and you could choose to do different things. We're going to choose copy, and then paste. And see, this way they stay the same size. And you notice these green lines are showing up. That helps you to line them up, which is a really neat thing to have. Now, before we go any further, this was something I learned the hard way. I had created an activity and couldn't figure out why the animation didn't take place. Well, if you don't fill in with color, then it has nothing to read. It doesn't read it as an object. It just reads it as a space. So whatever you're inserting to accept or decline, it doesn't do it because it doesn't have anything there. So while we already have this selected, let's do the colors. And notice it's fill color and line color. All right, so we have our two shapes. We have them filled in. Now let's go ahead and label them. To do that, you would choose your text. And what's really neat about in Smart Notebook 11, you can just go ahead and type when you just drag this out, it resizes to fit the box, your text box. So you don't have to go up here and choose a size and try out different sizes. You can drag it out to ever how you want it. And just like we did for our shapes, I'm going to just go ahead, select it, go here and copy it. This way I know my size are going to be the same. I don't have to sit and think, well, okay, how many times do I got to do this? It saves some time this way. And then just make sure, in order for you to move it, you have to get the four-sided arrow as soon as I can find it. See, I have it here. And make sure you always go back to the select button so that you can move it. And I'm just going to change the word. Okay, so now we have our two boxes. We have them labeled. Now what elements are we going to go in there that can accept or reject? Once again, we have our text box. And as long as you have text selected, if you just click someplace else, another one will open up. All right, so now we have the elements that we want to put in there. Knows what it's doing, so what do I need to do? I need to go back to my selector so it'll know that, okay, I'm finished with that command. I want to go back and do something else. Now we're going to go over to our activity builder. Once we remember to select your first shape, activity builder, edit, and do this where it take off the auto hide. Remember, the auto hide automatically, keeps this box here or this section closed automatically until you click over here, whenever you click here. But I wanted it to move the stuff over so I could see everything and make sure I didn't miss something putting it in. So I took the auto hide off. Okay, so let's drag what we want to go into this box, which is going to be the correct answer. And we notice I put a check mark. And then what we didn't want, now if we had a whole several more things to put in here, you could add all remaining, but since I just have a couple, I'm going to do that. And notice when I put them in there, because these are incorrect answers, it put an X. Now you could have it add all the remaining. If it would have done that, it would have put all these words and this box in here. And then you could have just dragged what you didn't want there into the trash can. But since we only had a couple, I just decided to do it this way. One other thing you want to make sure is go here. Now this is the animation. In other words, the correct answer are to accept. What do you want it to do? You want it to fade out when it gets to the box so you don't see it anymore. You want it to fly out? You want it to snap to the center? Or do you want it to spin? Well, I really like the fly out. But because it's going to be kind of logical if you have those in there, then you're going to know that the only two left are going to go over here because that's all it's going to display. So really, I didn't put enough things here. So let's just leave fade out. And if you want it rejected, that means the ones with the X's is incorrect. Then what do you want it to do? Nothing or bounce back? I think bounce back is good. Okay. Now just to, I think what I need to do here is add a couple of more things. And then once again, let's edit this box. Oops. Remember, I didn't do what I was supposed to. Go back here, select. We're going to select this. We're going to edit. And we're going to add these two items here. Because they're incorrect, it's going to have an X here. Okay, so now we're done with these. Now, let's go to our second box. Once again, just like you did with the first, what is it going to accept? And notice this time, these two items have a checkbox. Just so you can see what I'm talking about, if you choose this, I'm going to do that this time. Notice it put everything in you didn't want. So what you need to do is, see, so it takes the X off because it's saying you don't want it part of that. You take fur off, the feather, and you're going to leave the rest. Once again, make sure it's set to how you want it to do, and then click done. Now I'm just doing my auto hide again. So now, watch what happens. If we have the right answer, it's going to fade. If we have the wrong answer, it's going to bounce back. Do you see why I would want to have some other ones other than the choice here? Because if not, then the only obvious answers would be these two. Okay, so that's how easy it is to create it. Now, just to reset your page, now the one thing I didn't do, if you reset your page, then it makes it blank again because I forgot to save it. I should have saved the page. So, it's a good lesson learned. Now, it looks like it's doing an automatic save right now. So let me see what happens if I can get all my stuff back here really quick. It's one of my favorite buttons is the undo and redo. Okay, so I think I do. Okay, now before I go any further, what I should have done was to have saved it to begin with a name. You should have a file. In this case, I'm just have one called Smart Files for PD, in which I have a collection. But really, you should have within here, even a really good way to organize would be to have folders within the folder labeling if it's for math, science, social studies, so forth, so you're not looking for them all the time. Okay, now I can show you very quickly. I saved it. But I'm finishing. I want to say I had some other children you wanted to work with it. Maybe all of them didn't get to see it. Maybe you want to use it again another day. Then all you'd have to do is right-click, reset the page, or you can go up to Edit, which since I already reset the page, I can't do it again. But you could have done it that way if you didn't want to do the right-click. This is also a new feature of Notebook 11. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and check back because we're going to have others. Once again, this is using the feature Activity Builder.